What's up, guys? It's TK. I'm gonna be talking about sensitivity today. Now, uh, I just figured I would do this video just for, I really don't know, honestly, but um, here we are. So I'm gonna be talking about sensitivity, and basically, if you want to skip all this nonsense about sensitivity, I can basically sum it up into three words. It's all preference, and that's pretty much it. But we're gonna be getting into the nitty gritty of my sensitivity, why I chose it, and how you can go about choosing your sensitivity. Now, let's get into my sensitivity and talk about why I chose it. First of all, my sensitivity is 40, 80, and 30, and my left stick dead zone is 15, and right stick dead zone is 5. We'll talk about the anomalies in the sensitivity in the 15% left stick dead zone, and that's because my DualShock 4, it drifts a little bit, actually quite severely when this is on 5. So that's why over the course of playing the game more and more, the left stick dead zone, or the left stick has become more and more worn out, and that's why I've had to increase it to 15. Now, I personally think my sensitivity is great for controlling your recoil, being able to flick to things. It's a great middle ground if you're any kind of player. If you're a always ADS, corner to corner kind of player, or you're a run into sight, flick to people, un-ADSing and stuff like that. I think it's perfect for that. But I don't recommend personally copying anyone's sensitivity, because at the end of the day, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's all personal preference, and you're really going to have to go into T-Hunt like I did and kind of figure out what works for you. There's tons of different ways to do this, and one way I highly recommend, is one Basically Homeless talks about in one of his videos, where you go up to one of these fences and you just kind of shoot a hole in it, kind of standard distance away, and you just kind of try to track the hole and kind of get a bearing on what your mechanical abilities are to track a target. And if you find yourself, in crouch and lean and all that kind of stuff, and back away, change the distance, get really close up, and just see um, how difficult it is for you to track, or how easy it is. If it becomes super easy, then maybe your sensitivity is just right. Maybe you don't need to tweak it at all, but maybe it's super choppy and you're having to do this a lot, and maybe it's just because it's too slow for you, and maybe you're having to make too many micro adjustments. Maybe it's too fast for you, and kind of play around with the horizontal in that kind of way in your ADS as well. Now, I personally believe that your vertical sensitivity should really not exceed your horizontal at all. It becomes very nauseating for me personally to look up really fast. Now, if I'm just doing this to look at a camera, or look up or look down at something I bumped down on the floor, then it's completely fine for me. And also, 40 is a good medium for controlling recoil at long distances, and it kind of, you know, makes sense that it would be half than 80, because 40 is half than 80. So that kind of just makes sense. I haven't really changed my ADS in a long time, and that's just because I've stuck with it. Off the recommendations of Pro Player Laxing back when he was on Elevate, I asked him personally what his sensitivity he recommends, and he said basically it doesn't really matter what your vertical or horizontal is, as long as you're comfortable with it. Your dead zone should be as low as possible. Obviously, as you can see, my left stick is messed up. That's why my left stick is not as low as possible. But your ADS, he said, should not really, if you can help it, exceed 30. And I completely agree with this. There's really no reason that I can see that you would run a super high ADS unless, for example, you run a super low horizontal and vertical sensitivity. If you run a super low horizontal and vertical sensitivity and you stay ADS'd a lot, then keep a high ADS if that's what works for you, because at the end of the day, they're all percentages of each other and they all balance out. If you have a high vertical and horizontal, then you should have a lower end ADS, and they should kind of balance each other out. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and run a T-Hunt completely not warmed up whatsoever, and kind of just talk off the top of my head on what I think your sensitivity should be similar to. Alright, so as a general rule of thumb in T-Hunt, you should really be trying to maximize your time in T-Hunt. You know, challenge yourself. It's all about improving in the game, you know. Challenge yourself to be a better player, you know. Try to shoot at people from farther distances, terrorists in this case. Flick to things that you normally would never get a chance to flick to in multiplayer, and kind of just test your abilities, like, and see, you know, what your limits are. And that's really how you determine your perfect sensitivity for you, is determining first what your limits are as a player, your mechanical limits. This applies to both Xbox, PC, and PS4, you know, directly on PS4. So it all is up to you as an individual to really do your hard work in T-Hunt, to do what I'm doing, and even come up with drills. So I made a drill plan for one of my friends, so he could practice his aim and really just iron it out. And I completely 100% agree with doing that. Kind of going in and practicing, and doing all these weird drills, and, you know, flicking drills, recoil drills, and we'll kind of go through these kind of things in this next T-Hunt. Kind of talk about a couple drills. I'll go through about 3 of them, and kind of what they are aiming at focusing on, in the methodology behind doing them, so that you can increase your longevity as a player and not plateau, and continue to improve in your abilities, and, you know, finally hit that diamond or whatever rank that you really want. Now the first drill, I like to spawn construction specifically for this drill, and it's kind of just a kind of like recoil, controlling the recoil at kind of like a head size target. So you see these little parking, no parking signs. This is also a good drill to practice flip. It's kind of a flicks. It's all kind of a kind of concise drill. It covers a couple things. So first, you want to, you know, control your recoil on this head size target. Try, you know, doing it different orientations. You know, this way, that way. You know, prone, crouched, you know, whatever, and just change up the point of attack like it's an actual target, like you're peeking something. And since there's one on your left, you can keep this one's position in your brain and kind of just try to flick to it and really test your abilities. And this will enable you to find what's hindering you. If you're not able to go in one fell swoop to this sign, then maybe increase your horizontal. If it is, you know, if you're not able to pull down as much, you know, tweak your vertical. And like I said, in terms of ADS, that's it's really up to you to find a good balance if you between high vertical and horizontal and low ADS, or high ADS and low vertical, low horizontal. I'm going to another drill real quick. We have to go kind of go through it's at the basement. Well, actually, we'll go through, yeah, I can't do that drill, but we can't do the drill because they reinforced this wall. So I'll go through the one that's in the basement real quick. Get these stairs out of the way. Now, for some reason they changed it to where these signs right here get destroyed by bullets. I don't know why they changed it, because they used to not. But whatever. So normally what I do is just kind of use them as, like, you know, a pseudo terrorist, and kind of use them to really test my aim. I'll get some ammo in here. some ammo real quick. So I use them to test my aim, kind of test my ability to flick. That's the whole point of this particular drill, is to kind of get your flicks down, visualize where you want to go, and kind of go to it. Obviously, they disappear after you shoot them, so it's a little better on previous patches to do this. But there's other cases where you can do this. There's tons of pictures in the house. Also, there's these C4s, which you can use to flick too. It all is up to how resourceful you can be. So we take these two pictures, for example. We just kind of, just like that, and just kind of test your ability. You know, maybe you can't do that, and you want to be able to do that. You know, turn your horizontal up and see your limits. It's all about testing your limits. Now, even though this is reinforced, I will kind of go through the my recoil control kind of drill that I do. And keep in mind, you could do these drills with anything, any operator. I recommend doing this specific drill with the Bucks C8 because that seems to be the hardest gun for people to control recoil. Even though it's completely vertical recoil, you could just pull straight down. It really is a lot of recoil for a lot of people. So I recommend doing this drill 100% to kind of get used to it. And if you can really dominate the C8, then you can really dominate any gun. They become super easy at that point if you get the hang of the C8. So we'll just kind of take this target, for example, and we just kind of just want to pull down. That's all there really is to it. And you just want to get a bearing. Like I said, like, if these drills seem hard to you, they should. They should be difficult. That's the point of them. You know, it may seem like they're easy for me, but they're not easy for anyone. Don't let anyone kid you. These are not easy drills. It will take time. Let me grab some ammo real quick. They will take time because everything in this game takes time. If it didn't take time and if it wasn't hard, then nobody would do it. So, you know, just pull down, kind of get the feel for the gun. Some guns have a kind of left and down pull. Some guns have a more straight just down pull. You know, it just depends on the gun, and you just really have to kind of just use them all. Even running T-hunts with glass. Running T-hunts with glass to really test your one-shot headshot ability, your headshot accuracy. Anything that you can do to really just test your limits is going to help tenfold to see where you are as a player and see what you need to work on. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what your sensitivity values read. It really doesn't. It only matters what you get out of them. How good you are with whatever your preference is. If you're like if you're a hollow player, if you're a reflex player, if you use red dot, if you like using muzzle only, you know, whatever it is, you have to be able to dominate what you like, and that's the whole purpose of really getting in T-hunt and grinding out and seeing what works best for you. That's how you really truly become a great all-around player. Now we're gonna wrap up the video at this point. I just want to say that you can come to my Twitter or come to my Twitch stream at any point in time. Both links are always in the description of every one of my videos. Come by at any point in time, ask any questions you can possibly think of. I am completely here to help anyone that has any questions in terms of sensitivity, in terms of literally anything. If you want to squat up, anything along the lines, just come through and I'll try to help as best as I can. After all, I'm so grateful for every single like. Even one view on a video means the world to me. It really is all about just helping people improve and showcasing that as best as I can. And this kind of video, the goal of this video is to really just kind of give this resource to people to help them improve and to show them that the work is hard to get better, but the work is so worth it when you do. come and see it through. You go the full length and you put it all on the table, and you get what you put in. You really do. So anyways, have a fantastic day, night, evening, whatever it is, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you.